Okay, let's start. So we are talking about the review of literature, and basically there are only two things in the review of literature. The one is it's all about the variable. Please understand that. The two things are one, you look for how to measure a variable, how the previous studies have measured a variable, and second thing, what is the relation of a variable with the other variables. So how we'll start? I have sent you the three files. One by Mr. Naresh Malhotra, Professor Naresh Malhotra. He has written a book, Marketing Research, and in the last pages, there are some case studies given. So I have sent you 2 pages of case 3.10, antecedents and consequences of trust in online shopping or B2B online shopping. If you just go through the page, because I cannot share those things here in Zoom, so just open that page. So what you can do, you can on the right hand side extreme top, you can find exit full screen, and then you can open a page side by side. So open that PDF file, and on the first page itself, there are some paragraphs written, like there are the two columns on the page. On the right hand side, I'm reading from the top. It says, during a personal interaction with the several consumers, it is felt that protecting was personal information through online website transaction, confidentiality, integrity, and authentication of website information. I hope you found this particular paragraph. I have sent you the 2 pages. This one is ROL Naresh Malhotra, and on the right hand side on the top. So basically, what we are interested in when you study something, we just are interested in the variable. Now let me start it from the very starting, and let me take example of the Praveen. So yesterday we talked about review objective-wise analysis. Objective-wise analysis means you are very clear, you are pretty clear about the things. You propose, to whom you propose? To the DRC, that I wish to study these things, I wish to find this relationship, etc., this sort of the stuff. So just now, Praveen, compare it with the marriage proposal. When, I hope you are married, when you went for the marriage proposal, or somebody from your side went for the marriage proposal, I hope it was very clear to whom you are going. It could not be any random, you knock any house and go for the marriage proposal. So you go with a definite, okay, this is the girl, these are the things, I am earning this, etc. Everything is certain. Okay? So there you propose something. Objective is like a proposal, but before that, you interact with the people. So when you decide to go marry, Jasprit married. So when Jasprit married, so obviously it would not have been the first person and you say, okay, let's get married. How the process starts? You look for the n number of the people. You maybe, there is a concept of dating. You just talk to the people, you spend some time and you see whether there is a compatibility or not, whether you can spend time with that person or not. So that sort of academic dating is review of literature. So how you start with? So there is a confusion. People often ask whether objective come first or whether the review come first, whether the topic come first or whether the review come first. So well, you know how we start. We start reading. You read, and some of the times you are very comfortable with some of the topic. Okay. One, you got a broad area. You are working in management, commerce, economics, psychology, philosophy. In that, again, you choose a topic and you are more comfortable with that topic as compared to the others. Let's say somebody is working on the employee productivity. So I feel more comfortable with the productivity. So there is no reason why, how you decide a particular topic that I am more comfortable. For different person, it's a different things. So you choose a topic, in that you start reading. Now it's just like when you join any new college, any new place, any organization, on the day one, you don't know anyone there. But as the time passes, we interact with the people, you meet those people again and again, you remember their names, etc. And when you spend 10 years or 20 years there, you know everyone there, you know their family members, you know their kids, you know all the things, right? Just like the same, think of the research. The first thing we are interested in the variables. Now, what is a variable? Technically, anything that varies is a variable. anything we are interested in that is varying and that have some impact on something, that's a variable. Now the question here is, okay, welcome Ritu, and put your mic on mute mode.
Yes, sir.
So we are talking
Done.
about the variable. Now what happens, Praveen, coming back to you, see, the day you were born, let's start it from there and then we'll come to the research. The day you were born, maybe in half an hour, the first thing they did, they means your family members did, they put a name. So they put a name that, okay, Praveen. Then they kept reminding you that you are Praveen. So there are certain cues people do so that whenever you hear the word Praveen, you react. Okay, so you understand, okay, I am Praveen. You are made to realize this, you are Praveen. Then the first thing you did, you realize there is a father, there is a mother, there are the siblings, first 2-3 years. So if you consider yourself as a variable, you will find what you are doing in the last 20 years was just the review of literature. So for the time being, I will advise you to keep your thesis, PhD aside and let's talk about ourselves. So you are a variable, Praveen. So you started your life, the first few variables that are very important for your survival, your mother and father. Okay. Then you realize there are certain more siblings. Now in a family, let's look for Praveen is there, a sister is there, father and mother. 4 are the variables. But interestingly, all the variables are related, but their relation is not same. A lady which is mother to you, she is a wife to your father. A lady that is sister to you, she is the daughter of your father. So it means there are the different relations. In research world, the relation will be called a hypothesis. This will be called a hypothesis. So like your relation with your mother. So you say, okay, it's a son and the mother relationship. Okay, I welcome Sanjeev Verma ji. Put your microphone on mute mode, sir. Yeah, thank you. Now, Praveen, coming back, in a family, there are the 4 people and consider the 4 as the variable. All the people are related to each other, but their relationship is different. So there are the 3 things, if you can look. Number 1, there is a person. Different people have a relation and total of all these people, a collection of all these people is called as the family. Come back to the research. There is a variable. Its relationship with the other variable is called as the hypothesis, and together all the variables taken together is called as a model. Okay, so a model is not like any 3, 4, 5 variables. Not just like family doesn't mean any 5 people. In a bus, you are standing with the 5 people and you say it's a family. No, it's not a family. They are not related. So in the family, everybody is related with any other person. They are related, they are closely connected, they often interact. So it means, Praveen, if we just go ahead of your childhood, when you are up to 2 years age, you can see you are always in a support system. There was the father, mother, maybe some siblings, maybe some other relatives were there. Then you went to school. Then your social support system changed along with the family. There was a teacher, there were some classmates, maybe you are going in some bus or rickshaw. So there was a circle. You went to the high school, some other friends were there, some other teachers were there, some new things were there. You went to the college, some new people come. It means for the rest of all of us, if we wish to understand Praveen, can we understand Praveen better if we understand his sports system? If we know his high school friends, if we know his college friends, if we know his family members, if we know his colleagues and all, can we understand Praveen better? Yes. So it means whenever we talk about the Praveen, Praveen will never be alone in this world, never in isolation. Rather, he will always be surrounded by certain people. And understanding those people will always give us an idea about Praveen, how he reacts, how we perform the different roles. Just like Praveen is today comfortable, He don't have to recall that, okay, my mother's sister's son, what he is to me. He remembers directly by name. Likewise, what we will do, think of the productivity here. Now let's come to the research words, and we will just have the same concept in research words. So if somebody is saying, I am working on productivity. So Praveen, whether productivity of the employee, whenever we talk of productivity, will leadership be around? Will leadership be there? Leadership will influence productivity? Praveen, you can unmute your mic because others will listen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it means whenever we talk about the performance, leadership has to be there. Whenever we talk of the performance, a personal motivation will be there. Organization culture will be there. It means it's not possible when you read about the performance of productivity, these things won't fight. And some common things will always be there. Always and always be there. So basically, now the question is, there are n number of questions. How should I start? Start by reading and start by identifying a variable. Now the various variables have certain relations. And when you read a review paper or research paper of thesis, your first job is to identify the variables. For example, when you join any company, the first job you do mentally, psychologically, that you note down all the people. You ask for the organization chart, any hierarchy, etc. So you understand, okay, these are the various peoples who work in the organization and how I am related to that, to whom I am supposed to report and so on. Now it means just like that, our variables, we will just go on relating the variables. Now you can minimize your Zoom window and you can open the PDF file ROL Naresh Malhotra. In the ROL Naresh Malhotra, its antecedents and consequences of trust in B2C online shopping. There are two columns. On the right hand column, it says, during a personal interaction with several consumers, it was felt that protecting was personal information through online website transaction, confidentiality, integrity, and authentication of website information and reputation of website are among some of the most important. Now it says, several past studies such as Chen and Barnes, Chelappa, Koforius, Hampton, Sosa provided empirical evidence that factors like privacy, security, vendor repute build online trust. Therefore, we hypothesize. Now, this line is very important. Therefore, we hypothesize. That means, on the basis of previous studies, I am saying that higher perception of privacy results into the higher level of customer trust. I want you to read the H1 once again. Read it once again. Higher perception of privacy in the website results in the higher level of trust. Can you identify the variables in this line? How many variables are there, Praveen?
Yes, sir.
How many variables are there?
One is trust.
Yes.
Only one.
Only one is there. Okay. Let's do it like this. Let's put it even more. Let's do dissection of this. It says higher perception of privacy. Now, Praveen, when I ask people about the privacy, will they have same opinion or different opinion?
Different.
Different opinion. So it's as simple as that. If I'll ask to the various people, something that is same for all the people will be a constant or context. Something that is different for the different people will be variable. Okay. So here it says higher perception of privacy. Now it's not the privacy, please mind it. The name of the variable is perception of the privacy. These are different things. If I take, and now this is very important for all of you, please be very specific what you are talking about. If you are talking about privacy, privacy is a very abstract concept. Maybe I have to go up for certain algorithms, computer engineers will tell me what is the privacy, how to maintain the privacy, these things. But I'm talking about perception about the privacy. Anybody can have a perception about the privacy. Are we clear on this? most of the time, what the mistake scholars do, in the name of the variable, they measure the perception. Please look for, a variable is a separate thing and perception is a separate thing. So please look, ask yourself, are you measuring quality or perceived quality? These are two different things. If you say I am measuring quality, then you must go to any expert panel. Expert panel will tell you what is the quality. There are certain agencies, rating agency, which rate the hotels. They take 20-30 parameters, just like NAC is doing, NBA is doing, NIRF is doing. So they are working on a different set. They are working on the data. But we can ask anybody about the perception. So please be very careful always. Are we measuring a variable or are we measuring perception of the variable? So here the authors say we are measuring the perception of privacy. Results into the higher level of customer trust. Again, trust will be different. So it's a bivariate. It's a bivariate. And can you see, they say there is a relation, higher perception, higher trust. There is a positive relation. Okay. So first thing, we never write as hypothesis that I feel like. You never do it. We require certain bases. 3, 4, 5 studies are okay. Okay. If you provide 80 studies, then again it's the same thing that the two variables are related. If you give 200 study, again that's the same thing. So minimum 3 to 5 studies are mandatory. Any 5 studies which show that there is a relation between these two. Okay, we welcome Bharat Singh Thapa from Nepal. Bharat, please put your microphone on mute mode. Microphone on mute mode. And we are talking about review of literature. So coming back, what you study, first thing, just like when you join an organization, you first remember the names of the people. Likewise, when you start a study, if I'll ask you, Parveen, what are the 10 variables in your study? It must be on your fingertips, just like you can count your friends today. Until and unless these will be, you will personify these variables. You can't go ahead. You have to give a personal aura to all these variables. The one variable, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 10 variables. These 10 variables are there. Now, yesterday, Ritu had a question that there may be hundreds of variables. There can be any number of variables. How can we really say these are the 5 variables or 10 variables? It's very true. Actually, what happens when you go on review of literature, so you will find every new variable. Productivity is related to leader. Productivity is related to the motivation, organization culture, individual personality, type of organization, type of the society you are brought in. So there are hundreds and thousands of variables. So what you will do, you will just note down first their names and their relationship. So you will try to make a relationship. This is related to this. This is related to this. These are related. These are related. So using an arrow diagram. So what I will suggest, review of literature should conclude with a diagram of all the hypotheses that is called as the model. Now,
I have a question.
Yes, just breathe.
Sometimes when we are reading through, like you said, that leadership affects productivity. Agreed. 10 papers will show that leadership affects productivity. But sometimes when we are reading through, we get counter also.
Yes.
Some papers show that they don't. So now what should we do? Because we have hypothesized that it does lead to productivity. Should we neglect the contradictions? What should we do?
Okay. That's a very valid question. Like, okay. That's a very valid question because it says we get a counter one. See, the beauty of this is whatever hypothesis you begin with, there is something called null hypothesis. Just breathe. Null hypothesis is the hypothesis used by the statistical tool and technique. Now, it's an interesting thing. On the one hand, you say these are having a relation, but null hypothesis will always say there is no relation. Okay, so it means you can go along with anyone. It's better you should write that so many articles said this is the relation. There are other articles which say this is the relation, and you can in that case start with a null hypothesis also. So there is absolutely no problem of having a counter one. That happens.
So which means in my paper I can write contradictions also.
Yes.
I am free to write contradictions.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Let me explain this with an example. In general, I found that the girls score more marks than boys in 10th plus 2 or these exams. So my null hypothesis is that girls marks are more than the boys marks. Okay. Now for my sport, I referred for the last 10-year data of CBSE result, some sort of other papers also, research paper, etc. I said girls score more marks than boys. Then now look for here the three sort of hypotheses will be there, because review of literature and hypotheses are so tightly connected, we can't segregate them. When I say girls get more marks than boys, it is called as the my directional hypothesis, which a researcher proposed. T-test will say there is no difference between the marks of boys and the girls. Okay. So T-test will always work on the null hypothesis, there is no difference. I am claiming no, girls secure more marks than boys. I selected a sample of some IAS students, those who cleared IAS, Indian Administrative Services, and then I put the data to T-test. I asked, hey T, are the marks of the boys and girls same? T say no, null hypothesis rejected. Now, interestingly, null hypothesis rejected doesn't mean my hypothesis accepted. Please look for that. Null hypothesis rejected means the two are not the same. Any one average is more than the other average. Now, what is that? I found that the average of marks of boys are more than that of girls. My data says like this. Should I repeat the example once again? I have taken I say my two variables are there, marks and gender. My question is, research question is, are they two related? Are they two related, marks and the gender, or whether any particular boys or girls secure more marks than other? I started with directional hypothesis, girls secure more marks than boys. This is one hypothesis. T-test works on the null hypothesis. There is no difference between the marks of boys and girls. I collected the data of IA students and checked using T-test. Null p-value comes less than 0.05. It means null hypothesis rejected. Their marks are not the same. Second, if they are not the same, does it mean then I am saying correct? Then I will check the mean score. If the mean score of boys are more than that of girls, then my hypothesis is also rejected. Null is rejected, my hypothesis is rejected. Then what is accepted? A third scenario, that the boys secure more marks. If you look for the IAS exams, boys always outperform girls. If you talk about the proportion, etc. It means there are the three things. Are you able to look the three things? The one, the relationship is there. The second relationship is not there, which is null hypothesis. And in case of higher lower, a third scenario is also possible. So that's why, Jaspreet, coming back to your question, if you got some counter, you should write that, because T-test will not check directional. T-test will check whether they are same or not. So when null hypothesis is rejected, any one of them is accepted. So it might be possible the other is accepted, which you are saying the counter view. So that's perfectly okay. That's perfectly okay. Yes.
I have question. When we are reading literature review, it is not simply written there that these are the objective and going to meet it. Most of the Western studies, so they just tell the theory, concepts, and then conclusion, finding. Most of the qualitative studies. So how we should find out the variable, what they are going means the way you told in this Naresh Mehta sir objective. So how we should find out what were the variables, how they found it, if you can give some light on that.
Yes, that's basically what the review of literature starts with the variable. See, what is not variable, Praveen? First, let's understand that. We have to decide in our area. For example, I want to work on happiness level of the participants of this online session. I'm talking about it. Happiness level of the participants in this online session, right? 6-7 English words I have coined. Now look for one by one, Praveen, and tell me, if I ask for the different people, how many things will be same for all the people? How many things will be different? Happiness level, will it be same for all the people, or can it be different? Different. It's a variable of online participants. Now online participants will be different because your names are different, but one condition, all are the online participants. Looking at this, what is apparent? Should I ask the offline participants also?
No, sir.
Only online participants?
Yes, sir.
It means this study is confined only for the online participants. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So it means a thing that is same for all the people, that is called as the constant or context. Anything which is different for the different people, that will be a variable. So whomsoever you ask, if it is different, so generally some give you some general rules. Any sector is generally a context, like banking sector or automobile sector or electrical or electronics. These are generally the context of the study. You take people from that, and in that you take a variable which varies. Like general variables are like in which area you work in.
Electrical engineering.
Electrical engineering.
I'm marketing of electrical products.
Okay. One point I will tell all of you, whenever you wish to ask a question, you can simply press your space bar and your mic will be activated. So just press your space bar, your mic will be activated. You need not to all the time mute and mute. Okay, you can cross check that. That's the one property of Zoom. Right, Praveen? It's working? Okay. So electrical engineering. Now in the electrical engineering, can you coin a couple of variables? What are the variables you are interested in?
Yeah, what voltage is required, what current is required, what is the application, which exact application is there,
Okay, correct.
who are the customer, government sector, private sector.
Correct. Perfect. Now, when you go on study this, there must be some review which says that voltage is related with this sort of other things, maybe the current etc.
Yes, sir.
It is so. So it means just like, okay, first thing I was thinking you are in MBA. I think you are in engineering domain.
Yes, sir. And I already decided the topic. If we can discuss that, then I will get more help. My topic is, sir, open innovation. And reason behind this, that from childhood I have seen, and the industry also, there is no sharing culture there. And people are making competitive advantage of the whatever they have. So they feel if they share, they will lose it. So industry is the same thing is happening from many years. Having 20-year experience, I'm seeing reinventing the wheels. There is no correlation, there is no common platform that where we discuss our research. So this is the motivation for this topic. So I think topic is clear to you, sir. Now it's open innovation.
Okay.
And now if you can relate to this, if you can tell some variables, something. And as far as what I want to study, I want to study particular sector on that, how this open innovation work. Till now I am on this level.
Okay, it's a wonderful. Let's start with such a topic. First thing, Praveen, innovation is a very, very broad concept. When I go and talk to Praveen, I talk to Ritu or Ashish, I want to know their innovation. What exactly I should measure? See, innovation is something, but it's not a variable. There must be some variable to measure innovation. So what are those variables as per your understanding?
It is newness of product, it is a process, product, new marketing concept, all are coming under innovation. How we made something different whatever existing. So normally called product, process, and marketing innovations. And there are disruptive innovation are also there, and there is sustainable continuous innovation is there. These are come under open innovation. Open innovation only says whatever all we have, are we sharing it with others, maybe in different ways. I mean to say, if we have some product and are we not using it? For example, the semiconductor was manufactured by this Bell Laboratory, and after 10 years used by Sony, because Bell Laboratory has not used it, but Sony used in earheads. So this is just example of open innovation, many ways to do it. Now if you can.
Wonderful. Now the point here is, Praveen, again coming back to the point, you are measuring an abstract concept, innovation. See, innovation is not like, just think of, yesterday we talked about the age, height, weight. There are some units for that. Directly, there is just some scale, some way of measuring it. But innovation, I doubt there is any such thing directly. If this thing is there is innovation. It's not like this. You said that when there is any change in the product, change in the marketing practices, change in the market, etc., all of these caters to the innovation. So it means, please try to understand, though I am not an authority on this subject, my point is you are trying to convert an abstract thing into a quantitative thing. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I went to see in the SME sector, for example, recently I presented one paper in IIM Lucknow that what are the challenges and barriers of implementation of open innovation in SME sector.
Okay.
This was a
okay, I think we have time less than 1 minute. So let's stop here. Ashish, Praveen, I will start with your question in the next session.
okay, sir.
Okay.